So again, hello, Jeffrey. I just heard you saying we start there where we are, and then we have to we are going to unfold the picture from there. And where are we? The question is, where is our X on the map? Where is now? Could you describe how's medicine culture? How is your experience with Archan medicine, next culture medicine right now?
Mm. Yes, so I've actually been working on a map with a friend of mine here that he initiated this map. And on this map you first see modern culture and you see it's like imagine you're in a big city, and the big city has this like centripetal force. It's like when something's going around in a circle, it's like the thing is being pushed out, but also there's a force that pulls in. And so there's this thing pulling into the center of the city, like this attraction, this promises of comfort, of safety, of community, of togetherness. This is kind of what a big city promises, that it will, if you come into the middle, you'll get all these things.
Mhm.
And there's a trade-off. You trade a lot, but as you get out to the edge of that um of that circle, of that bubble, we we have been thinking that there's just the edge. There's just the edge, which like, and after the edge, you go out into something new. But actually, out right there's when you get to the edge of that circle, is you just get to the first edge. And when you get to the first edge, then you look of out right at the edge of the city, and you see actually this thing, this zone, this like no-go zone. The no-go zone is where the drug addicts are, and the crazy people, the people that end up in psychiatric inpatient treatment, and the basically the forgotten, the abandoned, the 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 people that you look at and you say, I would never, I'd never want to become that. And so that it's this area that's intelligently placed by the modern culture city, placed there to warn you about the consequences of what happens if you sign out, if you break the contract, if you break
Mm.
the promise that you made to be a good, you know participant in your family, in the work, in the consumption, in the empire. If you break the pact, then you'll become one of the forgotten, and that's as good as it will get, or as far as you can get. And nobody wants that, right? Nobody wants from a modern city to become the derelict, the homeless. You have something?
Yes, and it's so amazing that a lot of people in processes have as a biggest fear to drop out, to stay, to fall into the streets, live on the streets, nothing, be a person of no meaning, and yeah, living in the streets. And this is exactly the picture you describe at the suburb. At the end of the suburb, there's this zone of the derelicts.
Yeah.
I never thought about this before, that this is on purpose. This is a design on purpose, to mark, like, these are the consequences if you don't play along.
I never thought about it either until this man put the marker, the marker on the flip chart, and all of a sudden it was just like, and it's, yeah, it's on purpose. It is totally part of the design. It is part of the modern culture, that zone. And it's a way of, it's like a fence. It's a fencing mechanism. It's like, you know, they put landmines. There's the fortress and there's a landmine field. And then after, like, what's after that? So this Archan Health is what's over there. What happens when you get past that no-go zone, the no man's land, so to speak? If you can successfully navigate through those, exactly what you're talking about, the healing processes about the abandonment, about death, about being forgotten, about not being loved, about then then we can get there. But I want to start all the way back, which is, well, it's just, we already know the story of the modern culture healthcare. That's fine. We don't have to go there again, like you said. But to get to the first edge, right? To get to the first edge and stand at the first edge and look, instead of looking back at the modern culture system, which we already know about, look into the no-go zone, right? What are our fears or terrors about our own health? So leading up to this call, I was actually thinking about this. And I was sensing into this, one of the memes of spirituality, of even the possibility management game world, is you are not your body. It's one of the memes.
Yeah.
And I get how that meme serves, it serves like separating myself from my reactivity.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, it, in the path of Archan Health, it, I think it takes something away. I think it it supports staying away from the edge. You know, it's like, there's like, what when I look out into the no-go zone from the first edge, first of all, it's the fear of dying, right? Like, I want to avoid, I should avoid that at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
And so why? Like, I still don't have an answer to why is it so important that modern culture installed this function of avoiding death at all costs? I don't, in terms of health, of like physical body, and I don't know yet. Maybe we can discover it, but maybe
You
you have
mean
some.
you mean especially this, like the end of life? Do you mean especially this end of life management? Yeah, around pain and prolonging the life and so on.
Not even, because if there's a fear of death, it permeates. It's like from the day a child is born, even before, already the fear of death is the navigation tool for how to interact with this being. I have to do everything in my power to make sure that this person does not die.
Yeah.
That's sort of like one of the underpinning, the foundational principles of modern culture healthcare. It's
Yes.
like,
Yes. So
like
that
life,
absolutely.
how long somebody lives is the golden measurement of success of the modern culture health system. So we are turning back a little bit, but this is actually the no-go zone. So we do not go there. We do not go towards death. We do not look at it. We do not,
At this
that's
question, you
what's,
mean?
sorry.
We don't look at this question, you mean?
Well, yeah, that's part of the no-go zone. Like, do not look this way. Turn around. Everything nice is over here.
Yeah.
everything here. You know, most people, you walk through a city, and the homeless person, it's like you stay away, you keep your distance. They're it's the person smells bad. They probably have some disease, and I don't want to come close to that, right?
Hmm.
I want to stay away from that. So this is it's a metaphor for like staying away from the the fear, staying like not not letting myself get too close to my fears.
And the fears would be, if I take this homeless person, to be homeless, you be cast out, to be not like sick, smelling, needy, hungry.
Yeah,
These would be my fears.
sick. To be sick is one of the great fears.
Hmm.
To be sick. So what do people do? They try to do everything possible to avoid being sick.
And show if they are sick, they try to function. They show a perfect image to the world. And a lot of
Yeah.
modern culture medicine is, and also psychotherapy is to make people function again. So the functioning is a very important part.
Yeah. No matter how it's going really inside, it's how does it look outside?
Yeah.
That's what it's about. Do not show your brokenness. Do not show your weakness. It's like keep the show going. You know, the show must go on. That's the game.
Yeah, and also
So
hide every mark of sickness inside. Yeah, cover it up. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And 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 don't like so okay, if we remove the layer of hide your sickness, then the next layer in the no-go zone is mm, don't don't let your sickness be a burden to anybody. Like don't put it on other people. Don't ask, it's like it's so yeah, it's actually it's there's like several there are layers, there's so many layers to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Don't don't ask for help. You can only ask professionals. Yeah, professionals. You may ask for help or maybe family, but don't be a
Yeah.
burden.
And yeah, and don't think that you actually know what's going on. You know, you go to the doctor and the doctor tells you what's going on. You know, you
Mhm.
have to get the blood test, you have to get the x-ray, you have to get the test. And there's this special place that only there you can find out what's going on.
Yeah.
Not yeah, you don't know. And you don't and you know you don't want this. It's bad. You know, the illness, disease, it's bad. Like it's a bad thing that's happening, and we want to get rid of this as fast as possible.
Yeah. And
So so
there is a
homeless
separation. Pardon?
homelessness, let's talk about crime. Crime is a great, I love sort of
Okay.
contemplating crime because everybody, you know, the in the modern culture game, which includes the no-go zone, crime is bad, and we don't want crime. So what modern culture has designed is if there's crime, then they increase police forces, they increase laws. You know, we have to get more protection, more safety, more. We have to take care of this problem. However, it's clear to me that crime is just a response to an imbalance. It's a symptom.
Hmm.
It is not, you know, in a culture where everybody is like rooted and contexted and connected, crime doesn't happen. Crime is not a law of nature. Crime is a response. It is actually a law, but as a consequence, as a response. So we're not actually, so modern culture does not actually care to attend to the source of what's going on, to support the crime, to like actually attend to the reason for the crime. Because modern culture wants the crime there, because the crime is part of the no-go zone, which makes you not want to go there. I don't want to go there. So 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 it's a great example, because this is how it goes. Like we the modern culture healthcare will not go to the actual source. It will just continue the symptom management, because that's exactly what it wants. That's what's profitable. That's what keeps people afraid of dying. So that's another step on the no-go zone, right? It's
And
and so
again,
it's
yeah.
I think it's really important to chart the whole no-go zone, because I think once the no-go zone is really well charted, then
Mhm.
Archan Healthcare, Archan Health would be very obvious, I think. I, you know, if you took away these veils, right? These layers, not veils, like these, it's like there's, the man who designed this map, his name's Jesse. There's a do not cross sign, and there's a caution tape, and there's, and if we take off all of those warning signs, and actually get to the second edge, then what you see is just that. It's just what's left. And that's what Archan Health would be. So instead of me saying like I know what it is, I think, yeah, I like this process of okay, one layer at a time. The fear of death, the fear of looking sick, the fear of actually touching the source of the imbalance. What else? Like what are the other, I'm just speaking out loud, like what are the other things that exist in this perfectly designed no-go zone?
Yeah, we already mentioned the homelessness. So being without shelter, maybe being nomad.
Yeah, so it's like I will, if I actually go on the journey to like to make the illness that I have, or whatever's going on with my body, make it my top priority, then I will end up homeless, because I need to actually apply my time to making money. I need to apply my time to, so I cannot give my full self. I couldn't possibly give my full self to this journey of what is really going on with my body. So yeah, and also without trying to solve it, without trying to to fix something, but rather to just be with it. Last night I watched this TED talk about a woman who discovered that depression is actually the doorway to spiritual awakening. And this is a revolutionary statement. I could just imagine the people sitting in the room, in this TED talk, being like, this woman, she's crazy. you know like that's it's wishful thinking. Oh, it's a nice idea, it's a really poetic story, but it's not actually possible, it's not actually true, because the spiritual awakening is just blah blah. It's just like, yeah, but then, so what do I do with this? How do I commercialize this? How can we turn this into something profitable? I could feel the judgments of the people in the crowd. And I'm looking at this lady, I'm like, yeah, yes. That if you go through the depression, that's going through the no-go zone. If you actually allow yourself to be touched by it, to receive the messages and the invitations that the depression is sending, is giving, then whoa, on the other side of that is a whole new life, a whole new path. And for this one woman, it was that she could not conceive. She couldn't get pregnant. Her and her partner, they tried all the things, the IVF, the most specialists, the most, skilled people, they couldn't do it. And she started to receive messages of adoption from source, from from somewhere. And she was like, no, I can't. I want, I would rather get pregnant. And then the depression getting bigger and bigger because she's like, can't get there. And then another invitation of a little bit down the road, maybe, but still I want to get pregnant. And then they saw this commercial, and they finally went to an adoption agency, and the adoption agency then found this kid on the other side of the world on the day that she did her first sweat lodge, like a Native American sweat lodge, where she prayed for a child. And then that night, she gets a call from the adoption place that they found exactly, the child that matched what they're looking for. And finally that night, the voice comes again, says, will you take adoption even if you got pregnant? She said yes. And not only did they find this child to adopt, but that night she got pregnant naturally with her husband without any intervention. It's like, what, I mean, can you imagine that?
Yeah, that's kind of the no-go zone. Also fits in the no-go zone because you really have to hit bottom, really give up on all. It's about giving up all the mental constructs and whatever you are running on.
Yeah, so the sweat lodge, it's such a great example because I know from experiencing a sweat lodge that it is a place to go die. Like, it's so uncomfortable. It's, like, and you have to just sit there and let go of the part of you that wants to be comfortable and wants everything to be okay, and find a way to just stay there sitting for hours. And if I offered a sweat lodge, to a lot of people from my modern culture upbringing, they will just reject it off, like, immediately. I don't want that. That's, no, no. And then the stories, like, okay, you're just sitting in a hot room for hours. What is that going to do? So, well, why don't you come try it? Why don't you come check it out, see how it goes for you? And there's just this, it's like the hands, stop. I will not go past this place. That's in the no-go zone. And the no-go zone is what if, or what could be. If I allow the possibility that there's an energy that's beyond the material, that has consequences in my life. Mm-hmm. that is intelligently constructed into the no-go zone. All of these things, this story, like this woman from the TED Talk, is written off as, oh, coincidence or chance, or it's just written off completely to make it, stay out of, to continue to stay out of the no-go zone.
I think we get a picture, we get a map of what the no-go zone is, and so that passing the no-go zone directly leads to the Archan medicine, Archan way of healing.
Yeah, so that to get through the no-go zone, you would have to do the healing processes, which I'm not saying, emotional healing process is the healing, but whatever healing processes you need to do to work through each layer of this. Because as, let's say, you start to you start to interact with with a disease. I'm just going to use the words we have because I'm already starting to remap it, but it's within myself. But okay, you start to a disease comes into your life and becomes part of your life. So, and let's say it's a disease that has no cure, like it has no treatments. It's a really serious disease that has, serious in the modern culture sense that like there's no disease, and you are invited to be a victim because you have this thing that cannot be treated. Okay. Now what? It becomes I'm screwed, right? So that maybe that's the first layer. You got to work through the healing processes of all of these layers and like, travel the path through the victimization, through the let's do everything we can to beat this.
Yeah.
The oh my God, who's gonna take care of me now? Oh, I have to get my affairs in order. You work through all of that. Forget, it would be great to work through all of that before the disease process started. So
Yes, but you won't.
yeah, exactly.
Because if you had, you would not have you would not need the disease.
Probably.
Most probably, if you had your things kind of in order, like
Yeah.
you would, if I would be feeling and really be with what is right now and not lost in some stories or in my concepts or so, or in resistance against what is, then why would I need a disease?
Mm.
Why would I catch a disease or however, or develop? It's mostly develop, I think.
Well, it's still even, still somehow it's still looking back. It's like, why did this happen to me? What did I do wrong? Or what did I miss that would give me this disease? So, but if I start to peek out into the Archan Health territory the second beyond the second edge, it's like what 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 is what do I have, what do I get now with this that I didn't get before?
Mm-hmm.
What 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 can I explore now that I could not explore before?
Mm-hmm.
What is the invitation that this is making to me that I did not have before? If I stop trying to cure it and fix it and change it, and it's like, what what is what is the what how can I what new possibilities are available to me now that I have this thing, that I have this thing. A lot of people don't have this thing. I have it.
Mm-hmm.
What is it for?
What can I
What can I
use
use
it
this for?
for? Yeah.
Yeah. And not and then
So I hear you. So it's not even looking at the possibilities that are lost. Okay, there is maybe a grieving phase because things are lost, won't come back, and then see what else is possible, what comes out of the situation I'm right now in. So this would be a kind of mm, guidance how Archan health care could, or health, how would you say Archan health would be? A healthy Archan could be in that way that he asks this question: what is, where am I at, and what are the possibilities?
Yeah, and so okay, so considering the situation, you know, in our game world right now, with so that there's someone in the game world right now that is actually in this situation, and this is what sort of brought up the inspiration for this conversation. And so I want to just keep it anonymous because I didn't ask for to talk about it here. But so what I've seen is an incredible example of Archan Health, which is, you know, using whatever roadblocks come as fuel for making something, for making a group to come together to just be with. It's like it's this a sort of selfishness, because the whole village is totally being nourished by this process, and this person's not trying to change it. They're not trying to make it different. They're just saying, hey, I'm having trouble breathing when I sleep at night. Will you come breathe with me? Which means, will you come be with me? Will you come just feel, like, allow yourself to connect to my challenge without trying to fix it, without trying to change it, without trying to make it better. Just come be with me and be fed by the spring of discomfort.
Think of that.
Yeah, it's like, what if we looked at people going through illness, you know, facing illness and disease as a spring of connection, of it's like as a doorway into facing death with with grace, and with elegance, with reverence, with admiration. Yeah, not heroism, you know, not martyrdom, not being a martyr, but just being in the present with someone that's so close to death, and acknowledging and recognizing and allowing the process to unfold. It's like I walk beside you on the path that you're on, without trying to bring you on my path, without trying to have you turn around, turn left, turn right. It's like every step you take, I take that step beside you.
And what is also present is that I do not want to fix you.
Yes.
I do not need to fix you because so that I do not feel my fear. So I walk at your side, as you say, and I breathe with you. I have no expectations of you need to be someone different, so that I do not feel my fear of death.
Yeah.
So I've been also in this space, and I feel the fear of death, and there is in the same space is a joy of life.
Yeah. And I have this picture of, walking along this path, and I'm like me walking beside somebody, and maybe there's this coincidental moment where this person looks over and says, "Hey, do you know of anything that would help me with this thing right now?" And I look down and I see a plant that I recognize, and I recognize that that plant actually has properties that can work on this. Then I say, "Yeah, actually it's right here. Here you go." But it's not, I'm not scanning the environment to try to see what could be helpful. I'm not getting distracted from just being with. I'm just being with, and then if the person asks for something, then I look and I say, "Oh, actually, yeah, here." Or maybe I say, or yeah, maybe they ask and I look around and I don't have anything right now. I say, "Look, I don't, but I will keep, I would just keep walking with you." Like that could be okay too. If we look back, if we take a few steps back to the modern culture, healthcare for a second, when a person goes to the doctor, they are actually taking that step. But what the doctor does is completely lose the picture of being with the person and just run through the whole world trying to find whatever they can. They abandon all presence and togetherness and throw every test they have at somebody. And okay, that's how you scorch the earth, right? Like we burn every resource we have to so that this one person, so we don't have to face our own incompetence at like fixing this person, being able to solve all their problems. So instead of trying to solve things, it's just prioritize being with.
And there is a radical relying on that the healing is happening in the being with. Because if there is kind of remedy somewhere, it will appear either in your mind or outside in the world or in the client's patient's mind.
Well, I really like the 3-phase healing model, which is, the first phase is you are just let's say healthy, or in homeostasis, you're in balance. Something knocks you out of balance. Some event, something happens, you get knocked out of balance. And then the third phase is you go through a process, a journey through which on the other side, you are not what you were before. You're not just balanced and it's the same as before. You actually transform into something else.
Mm-hmm.
And so the healing process is not about getting this person back to health. The healing process is just, it's kind of like trusting that no matter what, if the person keeps walking, that a healing will happen. Yeah, and the being with is the healing process. That's just like, I keep taking the next step with you. I keep taking the next step with you, and I rely on the the intelligence of this life that we're living, that you will the process itself will transform you. So like when I this happens to me sometimes when I do like emotional healing processes with people, or like we have some sort of process that I'm trying to give them the golden key. yeah, and it's like, no, the if yeah, and then I have to just, either, and at the end of the call be like, oh my God, I did it again. Or somewhere in the middle be like, oh wait, no, 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 that's not that. All I have to do is just walk alongside, walk alongside, and sometimes repeat back what I hear, and they have the golden key themselves
Mm-hmm.
about, and it's not about fixing themselves. The golden key is not for fixing. The golden key is almost like what they need to be able to take their next step and their next step. And so I just show up on the path for this little bit of time and be with them until they find their next step. And that's it. So it's like, I don't have the full, like, beautifully crafted words for for this Archan Health thing, but it's like, we stop trying to fix people. Like, assume that it's that where they are is perfect, and what they need, they will tell you. And you can ask, hey, well,
Mm-hmm.
how, I love this question that came up in a radical relating space, was how can I be with you right now?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if you went to a doctor's office, and you sit down and you're really sick, and the doctor just goes, how can I be with you right now?
Mm-hmm.
And it takes both people. It takes the person walking their path, and the person that gets to stand, walk beside them, because people often go into a doctor's office panicking as a victim, like, please save me, help me, I don't know what to do. Give me something. I need antibiotics. I need something. Please, please. I saw this thing on the TV. It said that if I took this pill, everything would be better. Please help me, save me. So it takes both people, not just the providers, not just the yeah, we have to come up with new words. It's like, not, there's no more doctors and patients. There's the walker, and the the companion, the
Oh, yes,
accompanier,
the companion. I like it. To be a
something
companion
like
and
that.
not a healer.
Yeah. I mean, there's the healer, which is the person walking the path. That's the healer. And there's the companion, yeah, the possibilitator, I guess, the person that just stands there, that walks, takes steps with them and says, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm with you. How can I be with you? What do you need? You're feeling something. Let it get bigger. You know, what's the sound? Is there a sound you want to make right now? That's yeah. It's so silly, because
Where
this
is
is
it
kind of like
fitting
the
in your body? Where do we perceive it? What's
yeah,
its
but also
Can I talk
also
to
where do
you?
you also where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line with how much coaching and how many prompts you give? Because there's a
Mhm.
line that we cross, which is, now we're trying to rescue the person. Now I know something, and I want it, and they would be better off if they knew this. It also that, where do you feel it in your body? Can you let it speak? Can you speak to it? Can I speak to it? It's a fine line. And
Yes.
we go into these feeling practitioners trainings, and we practice this stuff because it's a wonderful resource. So, no, having the skill is great, because then I have the tool. But when I use the tool is also so important. When do I pull out my hammer versus when do I pull out my screwdriver? To a person who's done it before, it's obvious, but to a person who's never seen anything before, if you look at a screw, or if you look at a screw this way from just here, then you might think you can hammer it in, right? But even if you look at it this way and you don't know what threads are of a screw, what that even means, if you've never worked with carpentry or something, okay, if I just use a hammer, I can get it in there. But if you try to use a hammer to put a screw in a piece of wood, you're gonna destroy the screw and the piece of wood. So when to use what tool is such an important thing.
And this gives like this, you throw a light on what the companion needs to develop in himself or herself.
Yeah.
There's this sense of delicacy and timing and boundaries.
Yes. So
And
because
respect and believing into the process all the time.
yeah, part of the modern culture
Not believing,
setup,
trusting.
part of the modern culture setup is about speed, right? We got to do it fast, fix it fast. Like the and the any every minute that somebody's in pain, that's bad. That's a bad thing. We got to get, and so let's pump them with painkillers, opioids, even if that kills them, even if that causes a total addiction to this medication and makes it so that they can never even go to the bathroom because they're so constipated, and they have no aliveness because they're always zonked out on this chemical. Pain is bad. Let's get rid of it immediately. So it's like allow people the dignity to have their pain. Give people the dignity of having their problem. It's really a way of honoring somebody to let them have their problem, let them have their whatever they're working through, and you don't ignore them, and you don't cast them off. You actually come bring them. It's pain is a way of developing closeness
That would
and
also
connection.
mean to go back to this picture of the no-go zone, mean that everything what happens in a no-go zone is part of the process and has to be like seen and connected and touched, and everything has its place. Pain has its place, or homelessness, or bad smell, or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
they're all all of these things are giving clues about something. So it's like, if you take the three-phase healing model and apply it to this map, it's like phase one is you're in modern, you're in you're comfortable, life is good, everything's fine. Then phase two is in the no-go zone. Phase two is, oh my God, something is taking place that is uncomfortable. Something is taking place that is not normal, not fine, not that's pushing me it's pushing me out of just being able to sit on the couch and relax and watch Netflix. Okay, so now we're in phase two, and you keep navigating through phase two to get to ah now on the other side of this, I'm a different person now. I have more capabilities. I have learned new ways to take care of myself. I have expanded my capacity for pain. I can now um I can now be with people who have the same thing that I also am going through. I can be
mhm.
closer. I can be more vulnerable. I can
Mhm.
ask people. I've learned to ask people for help. I've learned to. I've learned that there are, you know, 30 plus people out there that would be on a team with me that I could call on, you know, at any time of day or night, and somebody would show up and just be with me. Whoa, I I didn't think that was possible.
Yeah, thank you, Jeffrey. I could go on with you some for next conversation, and and it feels like this has come to a round, like to a close. And I would like to see this map, the three-phase healing map, combined with this map you were describing. Will you draw the map?
I will. It, yes. The answer is yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Is there anything you want to add or how is it, take away from what you said?
I'm really glad about having gone in this step-by-step way, because I have a way that I live in relationship to all this stuff that seems so extreme and radical, and I could just put it on the table, say this is what but this was so much more nourishing and rich, and I think so much more useful than that. And so I guess it's an offer for anybody else who's gotten this far, is like yeah, just walk the path, like make the journey. This was like, whoa, I learned so much about even how it is that I stand in such a different place. Mm.
I hear that you're standing in a different place. Do you mean like not in modern culture anymore as a doctor in a hospital? Do you refer to
Well,
that?
but it's more so myself. I do not go to a doctor for anything. I do not take drugs. I will not take pharmaceutical things. I when I walk around the earth most, like, 99.9% of the time barefoot, and sometimes I cut myself, and sometimes I get, some I get bruised, and but I just keep walking. Sometimes I have to slow down a little bit, sometimes I have to, you know and there's pain, and I just keep walking, and to so many people it's like such an alien thing. It's like, oh, but you're gonna get infected, you're gonna end up in the no-go zone if you do this. And I say, okay, thank you. I'm and instead I know there's people I can call on, that if I told them what was going on, they would just be like, ah, okay, how interesting. And that I can also ask these people and say, hey, look, I don't necessarily want you to tell me advice about this. Do you have any other questions about, you know any interesting questions or anything? Anyway, I I've just kind of understood that there's a real important purpose for everything that happens, and that the journey, instead of trying to fix it, is about being with it. Like when my foot's hurting, I touch it more, I'm with it more, I look at it more, I give it more attention, and that's all it needs. When I'm feeling sick, I'm just listening. Okay, I don't want to eat, so I don't eat. I want to lay around a little bit more. I want to just, yeah, just lay on the floor, or lay it with my back on the floor and not move much. Okay, what it wants right now. I don't have to go, I don't think the body ever says, please give me chemicals. I need chemicals right now. I don't think that's what the body says. The mind says that, but the body
Yeah.
is just like the body just says like, this hurts.
So I hear the thing is to be like a good companion for your own body, for like be with your foot when it hurts, be with your throat when it hurts, lie down, eat what your body wants, like a really good companion.
Yeah, so coming around full circle, you are not your body is also a great thing, because then you can it invites you to be curious and to
Mm.
be a companion to your body, to understand that there is actually a distinction, and that I can learn from my body, and I can be with my body, and that what I think is going on is separate from what is going on. Just, this hurts. And then the mind goes, okay, so because it hurts, then I have to get ice, and I have to,
Mhm.
you know, this hurts. Okay, this hurts.
So
What do you want?
you're not your body. You're not your body. You are a good companion to your body. You have a body.
You could be a good companion to
You
your
could
body.
be,
You
yeah.
could be, yes.
Yeah.
So, it's like we all have that friend that, like, when you tell them something, they start just like, like it's like a torn what is it, a waterfall of, like, of thoughts, ideas. Oh, I read this book. Oh, I did this. Oh, that. Oh, maybe you should try this. Oh, I know this person, they can help you. And you're and and you sit there and you're like, this is not helpful. I wanted something else. And okay,
Yeah.
I didn't ask for something else. I knew it, and I went to this person. So not to be a victim of it, but then we all have this other friends that when we tell them something, they just go,
Mm.
whoa, what do you think? What do you think is going on? And then there's this huge space. The first person throws so much into the space that it's just like it's clogged, and the other person, just by the way they're being, they just make the space bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're just like, whoa, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to. You don't want to. You're just asking me what I. Oh, wow. And yeah, and then my energetic body starts to expand into the space that's created, and all this awareness and presence and just being with happens, and it's a totally different experience.
Yeah. Thank you. I wish for myself when I'm sick, when I'm going to be sick, for a healer who is just asking, how can I be with you? How can I be with you? Not even what can I do for you? So relaxing.
And I hope that when I'm a person who needs a healer, that I also already know how to tell them how to be with me before they even need to ask. You know what I mean? It's like this way we both become part of the process. Like, that we both, if both of us take responsibility, right? If I'm person, what did we say? If I'm the healer, meaning the one who's walking the path, and you're the companion, that we both imagine if we both had the skill. You had the skill of making space, and I had the skill of making space. And then we can make a infinite space together. And it becomes just then we start to enter the domain of fun.
Yes, and you as the one who walking the path would be able to ask questions, would be asked for what, like the asking, have the asking capacity to ask for what you need,
Yeah,
and
so I can say,
not
yeah,
wait until someone is presenting you.
yeah, yeah. Like I come to you, I say, hey, I really want someone to ask me how can they be with me? Would you ask me that?
Yeah,
Like like that. So I don't leave the expectation on you to be able to do that.
yeah.
And well, this is kind of scary, but it's actually it's not entering the territory of fun. It's actually entering the territory of making love.
Yes,
Beyond the sexual connotation, like it's making love, like making love happen.
love happening. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's not as much as making love. It's creating the container so love is invited. Something
like that.
is.
Yeah, and that, wow, that would be an Archan Health slogan. Like, yeah, making love happen. Something like that. Making love happen. Yeah.
Making love happen. This would be the title of our conversation. Probably not.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you, Susanna. This was fun.
Thank you, Jeffrey. It's always a pleasure and an honor. This dedicated space.
Yeah.
Thank you.